Hi, welcome to the Diablo Podcast. We are online at diablopodcast.com, and this is a service of diabloinkgamers.com, the leading Diablo fan site. This show is a little bit different format. We're calling it our Diablo 3 predictions. I recorded short interview segments with 8 guests, most of them regulars on the podcast, and we talked about a few basic things. Not really talked about it. It was more of a quick question and answer sort of format. Most and least popular classes when the game starts. Will we see cookie cutters and imitations? How hard will the game be on the whole? How long will it take someone to beat Inferno in regular and hardcore? Will followers be important? That kind of stuff. And tried to get either yes or no or very short answers from everybody, kind of a survey thing. And they're all compiled in a row. They run about 6 minutes apiece, and the whole show is about 53 minutes, including this little intro. So if you especially like someone, you can listen to it twice, and if you don't like someone's predictions that much, you can just skip forward 5 or 6 minutes and you'll have someone else. And I am curious to hear how you guys like this format, because I'm considering doing something like this again this weekend after people have had almost a week of Diablo 3, and technical issues with the launch, the first class they played, how much time they've played, if they played it multiplayer or solo, surprises, disappointments, that kind of stuff. So if everybody hates this format, then probably I'll just won't do that. If people like the format, then we might hear it again, and probably not ever again after that until the expansion pack or something. But it's a possibility for next week's show. So listen and let us know what you think, and enjoy the show. First up is Azour. You ready?
Yep.
Most popular class the first week of the game.
It's got to be the wizard.
Who do you think will be the least popular in the first week?
I'm going to have to say Witch Doctor because he's my least favorite.
If we extend the time frame to the first month, do you think that'll change, or do you?
I'll say it stays the same. People will make their decisions regardless of what happens in that first month, I think.
Will we see cookie cutter playing? Will people all read some guide and say, here's the best wizard, and suddenly half the characters on Battle.net are the exact same build of the same character?
Definitely not. Because, again, there are too many builds, and, every ability is cool.
What do you think about elective mode? They have this system where you have 6 categories of skills, and if you don't use the elective mode, you'll be stuck with one from each. Will anyone's late game build actually do that if they're not forced to do it?
No.
And that's a rebuttal to the Blizzard designers who thought that was a great idea, apparently. Do you think the general fan consensus will be it's too hard, too easy, or just right?
Too hard, definitely. I think Inferno's been... the pressure has been on for so much, before, when the beta came, everyone was like, this is too easy, too easy, too easy. And I think Blizzard just want to really own everybody.
What do you think will be the biggest early imbalance or problem in the game? Something they'll need to fix in a patch?
Definitely a farmable area or farmable boss or some kind of gimmick that lets you sort of guarantees you an easy champion or something like that. And what comes to mind is the cemetery waypoint where there's nearly always an elite there. And I think someone's going to find some gimmicky thing that finds some area that's always static and just makes it really lucrative.
How long after launch until someone beats Act 4 in Inferno?
Without exploits, I would say...
it just beats it. If someone beats it the first day because they found a cheat, that still counts. But
that's hard. Yeah, look at. I'll have to answer.
Okay, without
exploits.
Then.
Yeah, I reckon the first month because there's going to be some dude like Athene or something that's going to have 50 people helping him.
How long until someone beats it with hardcore?
Ooh, that's different. 2 months, at least 2 to 4 months. Because you got to remember, when you start to fight a boss at the end of the act, you can't run away. You either die or you win. So I think that's going to kill so many people.
How long until PvP is patched in?
4 to 5 months.
So you're thinking October, November?
Yeah, I think it will be. I think it'll be well before the end of the year.
We know the follower system is not supposed to be mandatory and it's just kind of a nice bonus. How do you think that's going to work out? Are followers going to be essential in Hell and Inferno, or helpful, or irrelevant and useless?
I think they won't be essential because their bonuses, players can probably get around making up for the lack of their bonuses, but they will definitely be helpful. And Templar in particular, because he's a damage soaker, and just the rule of Diablo is the more targets, the more safe you are.
Will there be a secret rainbow cloud level of some sort, and what will it be like?
There will, and it'll be very colourful.
Talking like the T-shirts, the powder blue T-shirts come to life.
No,
with smiling clouds.
I think they're gonna do something funny then make fun of the whole art controversy. Like they're probably gonna put some like, you know how they do those darkener sort of sharpener tools.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna put an area that's just like so dark you can't even see like in front of you.
What is your prediction for worldwide Diablo 3 sales in the first 24 hours?
2.5 million in the first day if you're including annual passes. Up to maybe 3 million first 24 hours.
How will the game be reviewed? Is it going to get 80s or 90s or 98?
With game sites, it's going to get, I don't know, like an average of, say, 9.2 to 9.6. But for the on Metacritic, there's like the sort of votes from the public, the users vote. It's going to get really low because that's just like everyone gets low in that. Everyone just gives 0 scores. It's 0 or 10. They shouldn't even have like in-between numbers.
You are our resident economics guru. What will the auction house do? I'm wondering, what do you think the highest price we'll see anyone pay for anything in the real money auction house in the first month or so?
$250, because that's the limit.
That's the limit. You think there'll be lots of things selling for the limit?
Yes. I think the limit will be raised, or people will get around it by using the gold auction house and selling it for billions of gold, which will equal to more than $250 when you convert it back.
Will people really have billions of gold in the first month? I guess if they sell enough stuff for gold.
Enough gold farmers, and yeah, I think they'll buy the gold. So, you know, if someone's selling this one item that this guy wants and this guy isn't selling it for money, he'll just go buy all the gold and then give him the gold.
Will there be a major hack or dupe or other BattleNet security problem in the first few months?
There will be. It won't be big because I think Blizzard have a lot of tools that will prevent any fallout. So it won't be, it won't sweep over the servers, but I think there will be something small that they'll control and fix.
When will we get an announcement of the expansion pack?
Late 2013, at the earliest.
So that would be a BlizzCon type of date. So that would be like 18 months after the game's release.
Yes.
When do you think they'll release the expansion pack?
Roughly 2 years after.
You're looking at 3.5 years from launch to the first expansion then.
Maybe 1.5 to 2 years.
And do you want to make a prediction for the 6th class?
Yes. Shapeshifter. And if there's a 7th class, which there might be, a Paladin.
How about a Paladin Shapeshifter?
What about a class that can become every other class? That would be cool. I mean, the skill system's halfway there.
That would be a really big interface. Okay, that's all our questions. Any last thought?
No. Bring on May 15th.
Okay, we're talking about more predictions for Diablo 3. My guest now is Eliminator.
Hi, everybody.
Who do you predict will be the most and the least popular classes in the first week?
Monk and Witch Doctor.
You think the Monk will be the most popular?
Yes. I looked at a couple of surveys, and Monk was at the top of most of them, which is surprising for us, the hardcore D3 people, but yeah, they're at the top.
Yeah, I've seen Barb and Wizard on top of most, but we're putting up a vote on this on Monday, so actually when people are hearing this, they'll have a vote with, 10,000 replies or something, and we can see what the community consensus appears to be.
Yeah.
Do you think that'll change over the first month as people get to know the game a little better?
Yes, I think after a little while, people realize how powerful the Witch Doctor is, and it will move to Witch Doctor.
And who is your first character choice?
It's actually going to be a Witch Doctor. Because
yeah, I was wondering if that's where we were going with this. And do you think there'll be a difference between softcore and hardcore on those categories?
I do, actually. I think Witch Doctor will be the most played in long term, and I think Barbarian will be the least. From playing those naked runs with the Barbarian, it gave me insight that he's going to be a real challenge to keep alive later on.
And do you think we will see rampant cookie-cutterism?
Not completely. I think you will see a lot of similarities between successful builds, but as whole builds, like copy and paste, I don't think you'll see much of that. I mean...
how do you about the elective mode? Blizzard has this system in the game where you get, the skills are set up into 6 different categories, and if you don't click elective mode, you only get 1 from each. Do you think anybody who knows what they're doing will ever use a build that actually has 1 skill from each of the 6 categories?
I was looking that over, and I definitely think it's a possibility. It's possible to do it. Will people do it? Probably not, but...
So you don't think you'd be totally gimping yourself if you were not using elective mode?
I don't think so. Looking at it, I was like, well, yeah, that could work. That would be a choice decision to go that route. But I really think you could pull off an non-elective mode build.
And what do you think about the difficulty of the game? We've heard many complaints that it's too easy in the beta and they've made it harder, and then they keep telling us Inferno is going to be almost impossible.
General fan consensus will be too hard. I just think that most people won't even get past. We'll be in the same situation that Blue Post was, that you posted up not too long ago, about a guy who was having serious difficulty passing Nightmare.
And he was level 55 in Nightmare, he said.
Yeah, and it took another developer to tell him, hey, well, maybe you should try this and this. I think a lot of people are just not even going to get past Nightmare.
Do you have a prediction for the biggest imbalance or problem in the early game? Something they'll have to fix in a patch,
I think the auction house, but as far as something that might be exploitable, I think maybe boss farming with the Nephilim Valor, and like maybe somehow beating, like you get the Nephilim Valor, you beat the first act boss, and then you jump to somehow you get to the next act boss as fast as you can, and without like doing any other content.
So how long do you think it'll take someone to beat the Act 4 end boss on Inferno, first time?
I think about 1 week, playing 15 hours a day. You figure probably about 105 hours until somebody beats Inferno.
How long until someone does beat it hardcore?
I think about a month, because it will take. I think people will need the gear that comes up on the auction house to be able to beat Inferno in hardcore.
But someone has to earn that gear in the first place, though, on hardcore.
Well, yeah, I think it's going to be an accumulation of people picking up, like, oh, well, I don't need this gear.
But if they don't need it, why would you need it to get through it? I guess we'll see.
Well, I mean, they also, because for that class, we'll say.
How long do you think until they patch in PvP?
4 to 5 months.
Followers. Do you think followers are going to be necessary, essential, or irrelevant when you get into Hell and Inferno?
Helpful to some builds, but not necessary to most people's success.
What do you think about the secret rainbow unicorn cloud level we've had jokes about for so long?
I don't think so.
What do you think we're going to get? Anything?
I think we'll definitely get something about the Cow King. I'm getting the feeling of something about the goblins, treasure goblins.
They vanish through the portal of the land of greed or whatever?
Yeah, and I think it's going to have to do something with the Cow King.
What do you think the worldwide sales of Diablo III will be in the first 24 hours?
1.2 million, if we're not including the WoW annual pass.
That's included. That's already been sold. So.
Yeah, because...
So add 1 million. So you're thinking 2.2 then?
Yeah, 2.2 if you want to consider the WoW.
Well, Blizzard is, so I guess we should, right?
I guess so.
Do you have a sense what kind of review scores it'll get?
I think by just how Torchlight was received, Torchlight got, I think, 85. I think this will get 95.
What do you think the real money auction house will be like after it launched? As we know, the current cap for item sales is $250 per item. Do you think someone will be selling for that much in the first month or more?
I definitely think so. There's always going to be that ridiculous inflation of items, the first good ones that come up.
Do you think there will be a big hack or dupe or some sort of BattleNet security problem in the first few months?
No. They've have enough experience to not have to worry about that.
When will Diablo III's first expansion pack be announced?
I guess I'll play it safe and say BlizzCon 2013.
And when do you think they will have that released?
We'll say 2014.
Do you want to make a bold prediction for the 6th class?
Shield and one-handed weapon class.
So would that be a paladin or something different?
Not really a paladin, something different probably.
Okay, any last thoughts? We're going to be launching very soon.
Very excited. I'm going to have a long day. I'm going to go to a hockey game before that, and then I'm going to go. Then I'm going to go to the midnight launch, get the game, and come back and play all night.
This is more predictions. I'm talking to Zanth right now.
Ahoy hoy.
Our hardcore columnist and expert and news dude. Who do you think will be the most popular class the first week or so after launch?
I've been racking my brain on this one, and in terms of like what is going to draw people in. I think from the softcore mindset, I really feel like the Barbarian is going to be a very popular class. It's straightforward, it's to the point, smash things around, watch the corpses go flying, And there's a lot of entertainment in that. I think from the hardcore perspective, maybe, a monk with a little more safety, or a witch doctor.
Do you think that will change by, say, the first month?
I think that'll kind of allow for a little more variety, and obviously with the free spec system, they'll be able to figure out what is working and what isn't, and then from that, just kind of play around with it.
Do you think we'll see cookie cutterism?
I think obviously we're all going to be drawn to what is working, but with the massive amount of builds that are out there, I think there's going to be a lot more experimentation. But I think the first video that comes out of a wizard just dominating, everybody will copy what that person's doing.
How do you think the difficulty will be perceived by the fans?
I really, really want to think that it will be Goldilocks. I think it'll just be right, that there'll be that perfect level of difficulty that's nice and challenging, but not overwhelming. But then again, I could easily see that people are just going to dive into this game and just destroy it.
We'll see some tweaks to difficulty and skills and such. Do you think there's going to be any major balances or problems they'll have to fix?
The news post that we had today, which obviously won't be when this is being listened to, but about the witch doctor and just doing massive damage with zombie dog explosions, that seems like something that could change pretty quickly if it's overly exploited. I do think we'll see some tweaking, because somebody's going to find something that they weren't even thinking could be used that way, and as a result, it might be gone.
Inferno. How long until somebody beats the final boss on Act 4? How long after release?
We're hearing developers haven't even done it. Not saying that they're the greatest, but they're the ones who are familiar with it. A month sounds like a good time rate. As for hardcore, I want to say 2, maybe even 3 months.
How long until you think they patch in a functional PvP arena system?
Say at least 3 months.
How do you think followers are going to work out?
Helpful, but definitely not essential. Even in the beta, obviously you're overgearing the content to the point where I always forgot to even bring them along with me, but when they were there and it was nice to have, I never felt like they were doing the work for me. But I do think that they'll be a nice addition. Yeah,
the big 2 damage attacks for the Templar in the beta don't really do much for you, so he's kind of just there for the buffs, I guess.
And to clear your way, obviously.
And witty dialogue,
yeah.
Of course. Do you think we will get a secret rainbow cloud unicorn happy sun level with silly wacky stuff like on those t-shirts they made up?
I really hope so. The kind of level of D2 was awesome, and it was a play on obviously the jokes from D1, and if they can poke fun at the community and kind of poke fun at themselves, I feel like that humanizes the game a little bit, and I think it draws you in a little bit more.
How do you think the real money auction house will work out in the early going? Are we going to see people selling things for the max $250 right off the bat?
I would think people are going to try it. I don't think anybody's going to go out and buy $250 worth of equipment right away. I think people are going to want to see what's out there before they really want to put their cash in, figure out what these item values are, and that's why I think our market site's going to be really valuable, because it's going to help us, obviously see, is this worth it, or can I just wait and, there'll be something better or cheaper later on.
Worldwide Diablo III sales in the first 24 hours.
5 million, maybe?
That's a high estimate. What do you think for the first week, then?
I don't know, 6 or 7.
5.1 million?
Yeah.
Really? 6 or 7 million?
Maybe I'm just overgeneralizing, but I feel like it's getting a lot of hype.
How do you think it will be critically received?
I think it's going to go over pretty well. I would say 90s. I feel like without PvP and auction house kind of polarizing, I feel like that might hold it back from obviously perfect scores.
And the big prediction, when will we get a Diablo 3 expansion pack announcement?
Well, if the beta took almost a year and we waited 12 years, or what? Yeah, 12 years for this. 6 years from now?
That's a little bit of a longer window than most were expecting.
No, in all reality, I think, depending on when the PvP goes down, a year and a half at the most.
And when will it be released? As if anyone can ever predict this with a Blizzard game.
I don't know. I would say give them a year after announcement, but then again, that was a beta test. So, 2 years?
So you're thinking late 2014 at the soonest.
God, I can't even think that far ahead. Yeah.
And do you want to make a bold prediction for what the 6th class will be?
To be honest, I would love to see Druid, but I don't think they'll do a callback. Something that would blend some sort of shape-shifting, because it seems to be a missing element, or they'll cave into fan demands and make a Necromancer.
So, any last thoughts?
Seems very surreal to have been, obviously writing on this site for almost a year without the game, to have been waiting a long time, and then to see that countdown slowly now into the single digits. It's pretty cool. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself and how I'm going to sacrifice all my time I have.
Okay, more questions. I am now talking to our wiki expert and editor Galore, Mr. Fry.
Hello.
Who do you think will be the most popular class the first week or so after the game's launch?
I think the Barbarian will be number one when the game first comes out.
And who do you think will be least popular?
The Monk.
And do you think those choices will shift over, say, the first month as fans get more experienced and learn what they're doing?
After the first month, maybe the Wizard might become the most popular. Maybe the Witch Doctor will become the least popular. Actually, excuse me, Demon Hunter will be the least popular.
How long do you think it will take someone to kill the last boss on Act 4 of Inferno difficulty?
2 months.
How much longer for hardcore?
Not much longer, because there's always going to be insane people that are going to try out hardcore right from the very beginning.
I tend to disagree on that. I think it'll be very similar for up through Hell, but then they keep telling us Inferno is just such a big step up. It seems like that will really pick off a lot of hardcore characters as they work their way through it.
That's possible, especially right at the beginning of the game when there's, people won't be able to trade for the top-tier items on the auction house.
Speaking of trading, how do you think the real money auction house is going to go in the early days?
Yeah, I think there's enough foolish people in the world that there's going to be a few that are going to be willing to pay outrageous amounts of money just to save them a few hours of gameplay.
Do you think that we will see any large hacks or dupes or other BattleNet security problems in the first few months?
I hope we don't see anything too outrageous.
There'll be millions of hackers trying to cheat their way in here to get some real money auction house gold. Huge motivation to try and hack the system.
Yeah, I have considered that.
You think they'll hold off?
I think Blizzard will do everything in their power to fight them off once they appear.
You still haven't answered the question. You said 3 times you think we know Blizzard's going to try to stop them. I'm going to pin you down to an answer here. Will they succeed? Will Blizzard succeed in stopping this?
I think Blizzard will succeed.
Blizzard wins, hackers lose, end of story. How do you think the game will be received critically by professional critics, not just fans posting 1 to 10 star scores?
I'm going to say somewhere in the 7.5 range for a lot of critics, just because of those things that are going to be missing from it right when it comes out.
When do you think we will get the announcement for the first expansion pack, the D3X?
I'm going to say right at about a year.
So May next year, you think?
Yeah.
And then when will they be releasing that game?
6-8 months after that.
So pretty soon. Do you think the whole thing could be out by the end of 2013?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you want to make a bold prediction for the 6th class to be added in the expansion?
Do I want to make a bold prediction? No, I really don't.
We're less than a week to go, and release is coming. Any last thoughts? Excitement?
Excitement? Well, definitely. I am exciting. I've been counting down the days. Maybe you noticed I'm the one who's been making the updates.
In the forum, 90%?
Every 10%, yeah. Been making an update in the forums, saying how close we are. Okay, 70%, 90% there.
What percent are we right now?
Probably at about 90.8% at the moment.
Predictions? Predictions.
Yes.
I'm now speaking with Exile.
Howdy.
Who do you think will be the most and the least popular classes right after the game launches, for the first week or so?
Definitely most popular is going to be the Wizard, and I'm going to say the least popular is going to be the Witch Doctor. And I'm basing this entirely on aesthetics.
And do you think that will change by, say, the first month when people are basing it more on power and utility?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like the Witch Doctor is the most underrated class, and It's unfortunate we only got to level 13 because the guy's got a utility belt like crazy.
Do you think those popularity figures will differ for hardcore?
Yeah. I think we're gonna see a lot less paper classes. I think we're gonna see a giant influx of barbarians, things that can take hits essentially.
And you think Barbarian will be the number one hardcore character, at least at some point?
Yeah, with his HP boosted up and everything. Well, then again, we might see some range that can take hits, demon hunters, stuff like that.
Other people have said the Barbarian will be the least popular hardcore because they think he'll be too killable. So it's interesting how the complete dichotomy of opinions on these things. Do you think we'll see cookie cutterism?
You know, as much as the dev team for D3 tried to avoid this, I think that there will be, maybe not in such severity as Diablo 2, but yes, I think there's going to definitely be cookie cutters for D3.
How do you think the difficulty will work out for people?
I think we're going to see a rise in difficulty come Hell mode. I think normal mode is just to tell the story. Nightmare is to get a little tougher, get used to basically get all your skills situated. I think Inferno will be incredibly tough, but I wouldn't discount the fact that there are people who've been waiting several years to master this game, and I know a guy who's taking an entire week off to just plow through this as much as possible.
So speaking of Inferno, how long do you think it will take for someone to beat the last boss on Inferno difficulty level?
I'm going to say 3 weeks. It's going to be a group of 4 people, totally dedicated, non-stop around the clock.
How do you think the time will break down? I mean, you got to figure people will finish normal in 10, 12 hours if they really hurry?
Yeah.
And then what, 15 hours for Nightmare and 30 hours for Hell and then 2.5 weeks for Inferno? How do you think it's going to work out?
I know a guy who made it all the way. He spent 72 hours straight for SOTOR and got right up to the top level. So I'm gonna predict that people are gonna hit level 60 in about 3 days.
And it'll take them 17 days to get through Inferno.
Pretty much. It's gonna be an incredibly steep curve, I think, after that. I think a lot of people say they want the challenge and they think they can handle the challenge, but I'm predicting it's gonna be too hard for most, but a complete drive for the few and the proud.
And how long do you think it'll take for someone to do that in hardcore?
Oh God,
No deaths at all, no zerging through bosses, none of that stuff.
Oh, well, that's gonna be. Oh my God, I'm thinking maybe a month and a half. Well, yeah, maybe a month and a half to 2 months. I don't know if I could live with myself if I lost a level 60 in Inferno, but there are people who will definitely take a shot at it. So yeah, final answer, month and a half to 2 months.
Do you think we'll get any big imbalances or hacks or other problems in the game early on?
Absolutely. There's just too many skill combinations. People are going to figure out how to stack things. I thought the monk might be one of the weaker characters, but I think if you stack his mantras and you bring him into a group and everyone pools their stackable abilities, I think they'll find something. You guys posted that exploding zombie dog strategy the other day about 25,000% or something in a damage.
How do you think the followers will work out?
I'm thinking all the way through Hell. Yeah, they'll be viable. It will be nice to have through Normal and Nightmare. Hell, it'll be kind of a pain, but I'm predicting Inferno. It's almost pointless to have them around. They'll be dropping constantly.
Are we going to get a secret rainbow cloud unicorn happy sun level of some sort?
Oh, God, I hope so. I really, really hope so. I don't think it's going to be as useful as the cow level in Diablo 2, but I think it will definitely make a mockery of all of the art discussions that people have had. The very calm and rational discussions over the last 4 or 5 years.
Since the day the game was to be debuted, and suddenly it was too colorful.
Yeah.
And there was a rainbow in my Diablo 3.
It'll basically be a room filled with rainbows. I don't think it'll have anything to kill. Maybe some unicorns.
Where does the Cow King come in?
Yeah, I know, right? Or what would be awesome is if they're unkillable mobs, unicorns that just can't be beat. And I think that would be the ultimate slap in the face when everyone gets killed by unicorn or rainbow shooting unicorns.
What is the highest price we will see paid for an item within the first few weeks?
I think it's gonna enter. First of all, Azour is such a smart dude. He's got it all figured out. If I had to take a guess, I'd say we're gonna see some ridiculous numbers at first, And then,
Well, the cap is 250.
Okay.
Unless they raise it.
So someone's gonna.
Will people be buying stuff at the cap?
I won't. I feel like the most I'd probably pay for an item without feeling guilty would be like $10. I think this is it's gonna balance itself out to tens of dollars at most, but you never know.
When will Diablo 3's first expansion be announced?
Let's say right around the time PvP comes out, so maybe fall. I'd say.
So 6 or 7 months after release, you think they'll get an announcement?
Yeah, that does kind of sound far away, huh?
When do you think it'll be released then?
I want to believe it's going to be released June 2013.
Like D2X almost.
I'd like to believe that they're going to launch it in year increments, maybe.
You are by far the earliest prediction of that yet of anybody I've talked to, so we'll see.
Well, then I'm probably wrong. What did Ellie say? She said 11, 11, 11. So I'm going to say 13, 13, 13.
Well, that's going to be tough, given that there's only 12 months in the year, but we'll see. Okay, so final question. Your bold prediction for the 6th class to be added in the expansion pack.
It will have a shield. I want to believe that they're going to do some sort of Necro Paladin combo. Let's say Paladin. There's the Knight in Shining Armor is missing from the lineup in Diablo 3, so that's my prediction.
Okay, that wasn't very bold, but I'll take it. I'm waiting for someone to say it'll be a Corrupted Angel or something like that. No one's gone out on that limb yet, though.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was going to be like maybe a Warlock-style Dark Soldier, but they kind of covered that with Demon Hunter. I think they've gone as crazy as they're going to get, class-wise, for now.
That's all the predictions. Any final thoughts?
I've been doing a lot of thinking. It's just incredible that 11 years later, I'm going to be playing this game. I've already had a 10-year reunion. After Diablo 2 came out, I graduated high school, and I've already had a 10-year reunion. In that time it took for Diablo 3 to be made. It dawned on me this morning. That blows my mind. So I'm happy that we all get to finally play this.
Okay, well, thanks for your time, dude.
Thank you.
And we will see you on the realms.
You got it.
Who do you think is going to be the most popular character class during the first week or so of Diablo 3?
Barbarian.
For sure.
Yes, because, he's sort of the mascot of the series at this point.
And who do you think will be the least popular?
Witch Doctor, because racism, and also he's kind of non-standard in terms of the theme.
Do you think those opinions will change after, say, a month when people have gotten to know the game a little better?
Oh, absolutely.
So people want the Barbarian because he makes big crashing noises, but once they really get to playing it, they'll realize the Witch Doctor is more powerful or something?
Actually, it's because, like I said, the Barbarian is sort of the mascot, the lead figure, the hero of the five-man band that is the classes.
How do you think we'll see the cookie cutters?
I mean, absolutely, cookie cuttery is going to be a huge issue, exacerbated by the fact that you can swap your skills at any time. It's kind of a natural thing that happens when you're running a game like exhaust on a car. I'm
kind of wondering how we're going to know. It was really easy to get kind of a general sense of things in Diablo 2 because you could look at the ladders. And if 80 of the top 100 are wizards, it's like, okay, well, now that's our answer. We don't have ladders, so I guess we'll just kind of see what people are playing and kind of the forum chatter.
Yeah, I definitely look at the class forums. I haven't looked at them in a month, but they're going to be very popular once the game comes out.
How do you think the difficulty curve is going to work out? It was really easy, and then it was a little bit harder in the beta, and they keep saying Inferno is damn near impossible.
Well, it sounds like Blizzard is definitely trying to make Inferno, ridiculously impossibly hard because they sort of feel obligated to, and it's their substitute for an actual endgame. Difficulty-wise, I think that they're kind of exaggerating when they say, like, oh, you're going to have a lot of trouble in Nightmare Act 1, because just from a design standpoint, if you got someone beating normal, you want to make the beginning of Nightmare easy so they keep going and don't get stuck and quit. Like, I beat this game once, why should I do it again?
And that segues nicely into the next question. How long until someone beats Inferno?
I'd say 2 weeks.
How long until someone does it hardcore?
Probably 3 months.
What do you think will be the biggest early imbalance or problem? Something they'll have to fix in a patch.
Well, obviously, stuff like class or build imbalance is going to be hard to detect for a while. However, I'm sure that within the first 2 weeks, there will be someone who manages to, glitch out a boss type or an enemy variety and find an easy way to farm or kill them. Or maybe they'll just exploit an event and get infinite guys.
Speaking of exploits, do you think there will be any sort of major hack or dupe or other BattleNet security problem that requires massive intervention by Blizzard?
Well, we have them now, and there's already a bot that was developed through the beta, so Blizzard's going to have to fix that. Beyond that, I can't really say. I mean, they haven't had the greatest track record, but who knows?
They've done pretty well with World of Warcraft, though, and they never had, massive server rollbacks or anything.
Yes, but in World of Warcraft, they have to ensure everything is good for the subscribers, and of course they got those $1 million per month to put into the web support and the GMs and such.
But if there's a huge problem in Diablo 3 and it wrecks the economy, then there goes their RMAH. So
that's a good point. But in that case, they don't really have to worry about making players angry with, balance changes and rollbacks and taxation and that kind of thing.
How do you think followers are going to work out?
Truly mandatory. Blizzard has made it very clear that there's pretty much zero drawback for having a follower. It doesn't cost any money to hire or to resurrect. In fact, if one dies, it just gets back up after, 10 seconds? Even taking a single hit before dying will be a big help in Inferno mode.
How do you think the real money auction house is going to go?
Yes.
Immediately?
Yes.
Very soon?
Yes, because I'm pretty sure that early on there's going to be somebody with a lot of money and very little sense saying, I want the best thing, so I can be the best for these short few days while everyone else is still figuring shit out. I'm going to pay out the nose so I can have this moment of glory.
Are we going to get a secret rainbow cloud happy unicorn sunshine level?
Yes, I guarantee it.
With funny graphics, or will it be scary, or what do you think they're going to do with that?
All of the above.
Will the Cow King make an appearance?
No.
Will he be like the Rainbow Cow King or something?
Well, if King Leoric is any indication, the popular bosses have to stay dormant for a game, so we'll see him in Diablo 4.
Do you have a prediction for Diablo 3 worldwide sales within the first 24 hours?
Lots. That's about all I can say.
What kind of review scores will it get from professional critics? Do you think we're going to get the 80s, 90s, 98s?
Unfortunately, it probably will get, flawed for not including PvP and a few other things. I mean, I'm sure the scores will be inflated out of Blizzard loyalty, but people have come to expect certain things from the Diablo series, and I know that they're saying that, we want it to be open and new right now for a new game, but that doesn't mean they can get away with leaving out features and such. And also, I'm sure that the environment of the game and the feel of the game is going to change over the first few weeks as people get used to it and start discovering some of the exploits and start, wondering why the item pool isn't as diverse as they thought it was and so on.
I think reviewers should get 100 toothpicks and put them in a jar, and every rainbow they see, they take out one toothpick, and that's what the score turns out to be. Class in the expansion, who will it be? What kind of character?
Do you want a joke or do you want a serious answer?
Both.
Okay, serious answer, chef. Fight with war spatulas, dump soup on people, and, summon ovens to bake enemies into bread, and then you can eat the bread and that kind of stuff. Joke answer, probably another bow user class, just to ensure that the bows aren't exclusively a demon hunter item, and it would help with itemization a lot more.
Well, that is a bold prediction. No one else has said anything like that thus far. So, any final thoughts?
Prepare yourself, and I guess we'll all see you in hell.
Okay, more predictions, this time with Nineball.
Hi, everybody.
Most popular class the first week or so, who do you estimate it will be?
I think it's going to be the Wizard, since the Sorceress was one of the most popular classes in D2. I think a lot of people are going to go towards that.
Who do you think will be the least popular class the first week or so?
The most I've seen anyone complain about is the Witch Doctor, just because they feel that it's too silly or too out there to have a place in Diablo. So I see the Witch Doctor being the least popular.
And do you think that will switch over, say, the first month as people figure out what they're doing?
Once people begin to see whichever class may have a easier time in Hell and Inferno farming things, Witch Doctor being a pet class would probably be easier than some of the other ones for the first time going in there. That could definitely change and shift.
Do you think those will be different for hardcore the first week and the first month?
I think for hardcore, the most popular classes are going to be the Monk and the Witch Doctor, just because, like I said, the pet class is going to be giving it a bit more survivability, and the Monk with all of the healing and the, I can die once a minute and it not count.
How long do you think it will take before somebody kills the last boss on Act 4 of Inferno?
I know they said that it's supposed to be really difficult, but I don't really see it taking anything longer than maybe a week at most, with probably someone being able to kill it within 3 or 4 days.
And how long will it take for someone to do that playing hardcore mode?
That one, it could be a few months, just because you have to start over as soon as you die, and your best gear will most likely be on your character, so you'll be losing that every time you go through.
So do you think the softcore people who beat Inferno first are just going to be zerging their way through?
Yeah, definitely a lot of corpse running. Just kind of like throwing themselves at it until everything is dead. It will really depend on how they've balanced it, and if like champion packs and rare packs will full heal if the entire party dies by the time that you actually get back to them. Otherwise, you'll just be able to constantly throw yourself at it from the last checkpoint.
How do you think the followers will work out?
Inconsequential, really. It's because I know the beta wasn't the best as far as telling difficulty, but even as easy as it was, you could play with or without the follower, and you wouldn't even tell that he was there.
Do you think we're going to get a secret rainbow, happy clouds, smiling sun, unicorn secret level, or something like that?
Well, yeah, although, I mean, that one people have answered with data mining already, so we kind of know that it's there. What exactly it entails, we don't know.
Well, the bronies will like that.
I'm sure they will.
How do you think the real money auction house is going to go early on? We're not going to see it for the first week or so, they've said, but in the first month, do you think we'll see people routinely selling items for the $250 cap?
Someone is going to find like a win force or something like that, and it's going to have near perfect stats within that first week. It's going to throw up in the auction house, and it's going to instantly sell for $250.
And Bobby will gold plate another one of his toilets. Do you think we will see some sort of major hack or dupe or other Battle.net security problem in the first few months?
As much as I believe in Blizzard's programming and security, I just think that as soon as it gets out there and is going to get in the hands of that many people, someone is going to find something that they missed.
How do you think Diablo III will be reviewed by professional reviewers?
I guess that will really come down to the reviewer, whether they want to actually review the game as is or include the PvP in that content that just wasn't included at launch. But I really think that most of them will give it 9 or 10s or 95s or whatever. I actually expect like the score on Metacritic. I think that Diablo 3 is going to be their highest rated game on Metacritic from across the internet, which the current highest one is the original Diablo at 94. So I think that Diablo 3 could achieve like a 95 rating.
When will the Diablo 3 expansion pack be announced?
It might not be until next year's BlizzCon, but then they may announce it and then push it out within a few months.
And when do you think it'll be released?
At least 2 years. Like kind of like how they're doing with StarCraft. There's not really too much additional art assets or content. The engine's already been done. It's just.
And do you have a bold prediction for the 6th class in Diablo 3 to be added in some expansion pack?
When they talked about the Demon Hunter at last year's BlizzCon, or 2 years ago when they announced the Demon Hunter, they had a lot of development done, both in art assets and like mechanics and things like that, into a melee kind of human-demon hybrid, which kind of reminded me of like, a demonic druid. So it'd be like a shape changer type class. And I think that since they have a lot of that groundwork there already, that would be a very logical candidate of what their next class would be.
Okay, so I'm talking to Wolfpack here, and more predictions. And who do you think will be the most popular class in the first week or so?
I think it's going to be the Barbarian. It seems to be leading in a lot of the polls we've seen, and you can't beat that drastic, fun, super smashy gameplay. It's just, I don't know. I think the polls are there for a reason, or he's at the top of the polls for a reason.
I thought it was funny that both Travis Baldry, who's designing Torchlight 2, and Jay Wilson, who's designing Diablo 3, both like the Barbarian most. Whereas you think they'd be like these cerebral, scientific, stats and figures kind of game developer guys, and they just want to smash stuff.
Yep.
Do you think the most popular class will change and evolve over the first month as people figure out what they're doing?
I don't think it'll change that quickly for the majority of the player base that isn't going to be playing as hardcore as the people who've been following the game development. But I think gradually there'll be this trickle-down effect where someone figures out something incredible, and then all the people who are super hardcore about getting through Inferno, regardless, will jump on that bandwagon and play it, and then, eventually the casual gamers who want to experience more will read up on the forums and see that everyone's calling for a, monk nerf or witch doctor nerf, and then they'll say, oh, I'll try this awesome thing before it gets crushed. So
is there going to be a lot of cookie cutters and mimicry? And you obviously think yes.
Yeah, there'll be all kinds of mimicry. I don't think that there's going to be one set in stone build that says you must play. If you play this build, you'll win. If you adjust it at all, you won't win. But I think there will be a lot of copycat going on as people join games and see people who are having great success and want to improve their character. And plus, the inspect utility lets you see what other people's builds are. So yeah, I think there will be.
How long after launch until somebody kills the last boss on Act 4 of Inferno?
For softcore, I'm saying 3 weeks, which comes out to June 5th.
How about hardcore?
Hardcore, I doubled it.
Really? So just 6 weeks?
Yep, I think by the end of June, we're looking at hardcore Inferno falling.
How do you think followers are going to work out?
I don't know. I'm still disappointed that followers can't be used in multiplayer, so I think a lot of anyone who wants to play with their friends is just going to be ignoring them. The single-player only people are going to want them, yeah, because at the very least they bring a permanent aura. Like I was checking out the charts or the skill trees for each one of them, and every single one has a pretty awesome aura, or at least one. I think the Templar has a couple actually. Things like improving your resource regen or your crit rate or your attack speed. So for or anyone who wants to sit down and have a solo session, I think you're going to want to have a follower there. But for the hardcore people who rushing through, I think they're going to be ignoring followers and playing with their other hardcore buddies.
Will there be a secret rainbow cloud, happy smiling unicorn cupcake joy level?
Yes, I think there will be.
Exactly like I just described.
Exactly,
right?
To the T.
Is it going to be, ridiculous, silly, My Little Pony, colorful, like those funny T-shirts they had come to life?
I don't think it'll be that colorful, but I think there'll be unicorn-looking somethings running about.
You have to milk him to get a rainbow.
And then the unicorns show up.
That's how it always goes in my house. Yeah. How do you think the real money auction house is going to take off?
I really don't think that people are going to be finding, let alone having something worth $250 within the first month. I think a lot of people are going to want to really, before they even start investing in the real money auction house, they're going to want to be figuring out what exactly they need, and then it'll need to be produced. To be honest, I'm sure it's going to happen. Someone's going to sell one item for the max, but I don't think that it'll happen soon.
Do you think that there will be a big hack or dupe or other BattleNet security problem within the first 3 months?
I said no. I don't think there's going to be.
And what will the professional review score be on Metacritic?
It'll get a little lowered for that. I'm thinking around mid-80s, like 85. When
will Diablo III expansion be announced?
That's a tough question.
That's why I asked it.
Right, because
that's why you get the big bucks.
That's right. The game got delayed, so I'm going to say end of the year, holiday season.
December 2012. You're thinking we'll get the Diablo III expansion pack announced.
Yeah.
When do you think it'll be released?
A year later.
Do you want to make a bold prediction about the 6th class?
I can tell you from a broad category what I'm pretty convinced of. It's going to be a melee character that's strength-based. There's a lot pointing to that. We have 3 ranged, 2 melee, and we only have 1 strength-based character while we have 2 dex and 2 int. So it's not hard to say it'll be a strength, but there's a lot of ways that could go with the strength. A couple of the popular theories are shapeshifting druid, who uses animal forms to get the damage done, or people really are excited about the necromancer, but since we're looking at a melee strength, we could be looking at something like an unholy knight or a death knight, if you will, although I doubt they'll call it that.
Wouldn't that be like a dark paladin, though, not a necromancer?
Yeah, it could be.
If it's strength and not summoning kind of thing.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking, because the Witch Doctors, has its zombie dogs and its gargantuan, but there's something about summoning undead that gets people excited, and there's no reason he can't be wearing plate and summoning undead instead of, wearing a skull cloak. Could be a skull plate.
Skull plate cloak.
Yeah.
Well, have fun with that.
I will.
And we will see you on the realms, Wolfpack.
Yes, sir.